After the newly promoted 24-year-old commander Scipio landed in Spain, things were starting to change in favor of the Romans. First, he successfully occupied Cartagena after defeating 3 Carthaginian generals. Then he defeated 2 more Carthaginian forces. Thereafter, one of the defeated generals, Hasdrubal Gisco, raised a new large army and moved to Ilipa in southern Spain. When he received the news that Scipio was following him to Ilipa, he knew, whoever wins this battle will rule Spain. By the way, if you want to know a bit more about who Scipio was, I've linked my previous video about him in the description down below. After Scipio's arrival in Ilipa, he started to set up camp on a lower hill not far from the Carthaginian camp across a treeless valley. Spotting the arrival of Scipio, Mago wanted to grab the opportunity to launch an initial preemptive strike against the seemingly unprepared Roman army. Scipio, however, had already anticipated a possible enemy attack and hid his Roman cavalry nearby to be at the ready. Mago used his cavalry and Massini's Numidian cavalry to attack the Romans, but soon faced a surprise attack from the hidden Roman equites and had to retreat when Roman infantry started to show up. After the skirmish, Hasdrubal deployed his entire army and waited for the Romans. Scipio also deployed his army, but neither side initiated attack. They just stood there, staring at each other literally all day, and went back to their camps in the evening. This pattern continued for several successive days. Over the course of those days, Scipio observed that Hasdrubal always placed his stronger African infantries at the center and his weaker Spanish mercenaries at the wings, along with his elephants and cavalry. Accordingly, Scipio also deployed his stronger Roman legions at the center and the Spanish mercenaries at the wings. Scipio would maintain this conventional battle formation until he thought it was the right time to attack. The next morning, Hasdrubal found his camp under assault by the Romans. Scipio had fed the velites and equites before dawn and dispatched them to the enemy camp while leading and deploying the heavy infantries in battle formation. In this state of urgency, Hasdrubal's army didn't have time to have their breakfast and rushed into their usual battle formation: Africans at the center and Spanish at the wings. But Hasdrubal soon realized that the Roman battle formation had changed. The Roman heavy infantries were no longer at the center but at the wings, and instead Scipio's Spanish mercs were facing Hasdrubal's African infantries. Although Hasdrubal was taken aback by this sudden change, he still wouldn't dare to risk changing his formation right in front of the enemy. It was too late. Meanwhile, the skirmish along the light troops was still ongoing but remained inconclusive. Nonetheless, Scipio purposefully continued this fight in order to maximize the effect of the starved enemy. After some more hours, Scipio eventually ordered the light troops to come back and rearrange them behind the Roman legions at the wings: the legionaries, the velites, and the equites in this order. Then the entire Roman army started to advance. The main battle began. Once they were close enough to the Carthaginians, Scipio ordered the Spanish center to advance at a slow pace, while the velites and equites in the Roman right wing, directly commanded by Scipio himself, suddenly started to move towards the right. Spreading out the wings, they moved diagonally, so that the Roman wing would reach the enemy's flanks. The Roman left wing, led by the officer Silanus, made the exact same move. Once both wings had spread out, the Romans advanced at a rapid speed, reaching the weaker Carthaginian wings, while the stronger Carthaginian center was totally excluded from the battle. To make matters worse for the Carthaginians, their own elephants, because they were being surrounded and attacked by the velites and equites, routed into the Carthaginian center in panic. During all this time, the Carthaginian center had to helplessly watch the wings get crushed, but they couldn't do anything because they were afraid of an attack by the Roman center. Now, the Roman wings were about to target the Carthaginian center. At this point, the morale of the hungry Carthaginian center was already broken. Being left with no other option, Hasdrubal eventually ordered the center to retreat. Luckily for the Carthaginians, heavy rain started around this point. Due to the muddy and slightly slopped terrain, Scipio could not chase after them. During the night, Hasdrubal left his camp with his hungry, restless soldiers and attempted to escape to Gades. but they found the escape route already blocked by Scipio soldiers and had to find another way around them. In the morning, Scipio could finally begin his chase. First, the Roman equites reached the Carthaginians. Then the Velites joined, and both harassed the Carthaginians' rear and flanks. The light troops delayed Hasdrubal long enough for the Roman heavy infantries to be able to catch up with him. Entirely surrounded by Romans once again, the Carthaginians couldn't be lucky a second time. Only 6,000 Carthaginian soldiers could get away from this massacre, and the majority of them deserted and scattered around Spain, while the generals Hasdrubal and Mago abandoned their soldiers and escaped to Gades. Scipio had achieved a truly epic victory. Since the very beginning of the Second Punic War, Spain had been a strategically important region as well as supply hub for Hannibal for more than a decade. But the Battle of Ilipa resulted in Hannibal losing his influence in Spain. For Scipio, however, the victory brought him a big step closer towards making his grand plan to defeat Hannibal a reality. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. More Roman and non-Roman history contents are coming soon, so stay tuned.